Okay, so lastly, we got Jack Harlow.
Oh,
Jack Harlow, young white rapper, is in the news and
ah,
being called out for cultural appropriation.
ah,
So Jack Harlow has got songs with Drake, and he's he was in the new White Man Can't Jump movie.
ah.
Um, and he's got a lot of things popping, but he's one of these white guys who is immersed in hip hop culture. And so he's under fire for wearing a bonnet. He was recently at a soccer match, and he had a bonnet on his head, and people are mad, calling him out for appropriating black culture. So this article, also from Hot New Hip Hop, says Jack Harlow faces backlash after wearing a bonnet. Jack Harlow is coming under fire on social media after rocking a bonnet to a recent Louisville City FC match. Several photos of him doing so have surfaced on social media as he posed for pictures with fans throughout the game. Quote, if I see a bunch of white kids walking around with bonnets on, Jack Harlow will have to answer for his crimes, end quote. One
Damn.
user on Twitter wrote in response to the outfit. Another remarked, quote, Jack Harlow fans will not see heaven for what they've done, end quote. One more user on Twitter compared Harlow to Eminem and Justin Timberlake. Quote, Jack Harlow is an experiment to see how easily it would be for white people to infiltrate, manipulate, and even be praised by the black community. End quote. They wrote in their tweet. Quote, we let them slide with Justin Timberlake and Eminem, and now we are being punished for our ignorance. End quote. The recent photos came just months after the release of Harlow's latest project. The Louisville native dropped his third studio album, Jack Man, to mixed reviews back in April. In doing so, he worked with several producers, including FNZ, DJ Dahi, Coop the Troop, Boy Wonder, and more. The project included no features and released with minimal prior promotion. So that's that. That's the background here. I want to share this real quick so that y'all can get a better look at what the photos look like. So there's Jack Harlow there. He's got the black bonnet on with the oversized pants. I guess the oversized clothes are coming back into style. There's another photo of him wearing it with another fan there, and there you go. So there's Jack Harlow, and people are mad. They're saying that he's appropriating black culture because he had this bonnet on. Why something like a bonnet has to be held so tightly for black folks is perhaps the greater conversation. But what do you think about Jack Harlow getting called out? Do you think he's appropriating black culture by wearing his bonnet out there?
Well, I mean, that's what I was going to touch on, bro. What you were saying, like, how is bonnets? How's that black culture? So, I mean, I don't understand. So, for an entire group of people to be upset, uh, that he's actually, wearing a headscarf. I mean, he's got hair. So, bonnets aren't reserved for girls who walk into the store with fuzzy slippers or the airport. I mean, everybody can wear them. So I don't see what the cause for anybody to get bent out of shape about this is about. Outside of the tweets that were mentioned there, which I find were actually kind of humorous. But I also saw people, making shorts and other videos, basically getting at him and calling him out for appropriating. But um, bonnets is not black culture. Um, it's just a scarf. Um, what is a white man supposed to do that like black people shit? He can't do it. So I think that like I mentioned this before. I think we were talking about the Eminem thing or something else, but I find it flattering, and because you already know how much hate black people get from all other cultures in the world. So whenever I do see all other cultures in the world emulating things that we do, that's not a to me. I find that is a form of praise and a form of flattery. Because if you hate everything else that we got going on, but you so much so that you won't even acknowledge it, but then you love something that I do so much so that you want to do it yourself, then yeah, that means that I'm impressive to you. So even though bonnets may seem like they're not very impressive, hey man, somebody that's not in the culture finds it impressive and say, hey man, I want to rock those. I got hair to throw up under there. And quite frankly, if I mean these fans know him better, but this is pretty incognito to me. So this guy looks ridiculous. And but he also looks ridiculous without the bonnet on. So I wouldn't have known if Jack Harlow was if I seen him in public, I wouldn't have still known. But this does seem to be incognito. So at least he was trying to hide himself. It looks like. So what about you, bro? You think this is some cultural appropriation, or do you think this is overhyped?
It's overhyped. But the bigger question is, why are bonnets black culture?
I don't know.
That's that's what I'm, and I know the reason why. I'm being facetious. They
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be. Just because a certain segment of us has decided to claim bonnets because it's easier to just throw that on top of your head as opposed to put a comb through it before you go to a grocery store, doesn't mean that that should be an aspect of our culture that's synonymous. And that's the problem, and that's the bigger issue here is some of the stuff that we want to claim. So in
Mm-hmm.
addition to cornrows and hoop earrings, you can add bonnets to that list. It's ridiculous. At least in the case of hoop earrings and cornrows, those things are actually cute. So, I mean, they're cute hairstyles. So other women recognize things that look good. And if they want to put cornrows through their hair, they are wearing hairstyles that look good. But the greater question is, is it that your cultural signif- why is it that your cultural signifiers have to be, in the grand scheme of things, various things that don't really mean much in terms of who you are and who your soul and what your soul is, such as cornrow hairstyles and hoop earrings. But here's the thing, black people. Um, if y'all really care that much about white rappers wearing bonnets, or not even just white rappers, but anybody wearing bonnets who aren't black, because you are so triggered by the perception of your culture being appropriated, my advice to you is to just fight fire with fire. Fight fire with fire. If you feel like your culture is being appropriated every time a white person wears a bonnet or has cornrows in their hair in their head or hoop earrings on or listens to rap music and doesn't edit the N word out whenever they're rapping along with the lyrics. If you're touched by that in such a way that you feel as though your culture is being appropriated, even though these things are bartered, packaged, and sold to everybody outside of your community, then just fight fire with fire. Invest in real estate. Learn about STEM applications. Go get a certificate. Go learn to be a mechanical engineer, an electrical engineer. Uh, there's been an uptick in black owned businesses, but let's increase the uptick. Get black owned businesses going. Learn about those small business loans. They're handing them out to you. Nobody is withholding that from you just because you're black. Invest in some, get some real estate properties, learn how to be a realtor, open your own brokerage. Um, you know, go, move out to the West Coast, learn how to program, get into IT, learn how to develop code and cybersecurity. Um, you know what I'm saying? Go work for the FBI and the CIA. Learn how to be a hacker and crack codes, and learn how to create drones and all of these various technologies. Go to the Air Force and become an intelligence officer. Work your way up through the military. Appropriate white culture is my point. If you really feel that triggered by it, fight fire with fire. They're appropriating your culture, so how about you appropriate theirs? Appropriate white culture. Become an angel investor. Learn. Go and work for a financial institution. Learn how to be a CPA. Do taxes. The list goes on and on. I can go on for days with this stuff. Become a restaurateur. Open up your own restaurant. Be a chef in a 5-star restaurant. Who knows? Do all of these things. Get you a fleet of trucks. Start a freight company and run trucks. Become a freight franchisee for Amazon. Get you a few Amazon trucks so you can do deliveries for Amazon. Become your own check writer. Open your own business. Appropriate white culture. You can do that. No one's stopping you from doing that. So if you really feel that way about your culture being appropriated, I have news for you. It's not going to stop. Okay, we've done an effective job of getting in cahoots with these corporations in the music industry and professional sports leagues who have effectively taken what you think is your culture, packaged it, and sold it as a product to the masses of the world population that is outside of your community. So your culture doesn't belong to you anymore if you truly believe that these things were your culture to begin with, hairstyles and bonnets and whatnot, and music that is owned via the music industry by people who also don't look like you. So if you feel like your culture is being appropriated that hard, that heavily, that significantly, then hey man, bring a gun to a gunfight. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Appropriate white culture. Do these things. Get on Wall Street. Study actuary science. Learn how to play the stock market. Get into cryptocurrency if you still believe that that's such a thing, which I don't. uh, you know,
Hmm.
learn how to read, stock charts. Those weird charts that they got on Charles Schwab and TD Ameritrade or wherever. You can learn how to read those charts, predict how certain stocks are going to behave, buy in, sell high, buy low, all of that stuff. Appropriate white culture. Invest in an app, or better yet, learn how to create one. That chick who created Bumble, some little white girl in college created Bumble. She's a billionaire now. Figure it out. And I know it's easier said than done. I'm sitting here gas bagging on the channel, but you get my general point. Appropriate white culture. Fight fire with fire. So that's pretty much all I got to say about that.
Yeah, and I'll say that when dealing with the word culture, all right, because people, when I was looking at little things of this, people were actually calling him a culture vulture for wearing a bonnet. So when we look at the word culture, which is just thrown around, all right, so it's kind of a thing where it's like people were born and then there was already this thing called rap, hip hop, or whatever. So this statue was already there. They were born, they see a statue there, and we're told that this is culture. And we say, oh, this? Yes. This statue, and the statue represents hip hop or rap. And they say, this is culture. Within culture, we sag our pants. Also within culture, we sell drugs to one another. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. And it's like, yeah. So then when other people look at our culture, they look at it and go, oh, wow, that's interesting. What's all the other stuff going on around that statue? You know, and they see all the other things that we've contributed to society outside of that one statue. But everybody looks at what we bring to the table as far as style, fashion, music, sports, entertainment. And we look at that as what our culture is, not knowing that there's a whole big scenery out there outside of that the rest of the world can see and know about our own culture. But we looking at this one goofy statue and praising that all day long. So when we get appropriated over there, we don't say nothing because we don't see it. When we get appropriated over there, we don't say nothing because we don't see it. We fixated on this statue with style and stuff. So when Jack Harlow wears a bonnet, you know, they calling him a cultural appropriator there. But not knowing that there's probably other things that he's probably culturally appropriating, you know. But needless to say, if you don't know your history, then you're going to praise this whatever. And much like you sticking with the analogy, hip hop and all this stuff is a religion. People blindly follow this stuff and don't even ask questions. And they say, whatever culture says, we're going to do it. And so one thing culture says is to holler at people who admire what you're doing. Hey man, this is flattery. Take the compliment and roll. You know. And as you mentioned, bro, there's bigger things out there. There's bigger fish to fry.
Yes.
There's bigger fish to fry. Instead of worrying about the very next thing somebody from another culture ends up doing that's ours. But black culture, if we want to even call it that thing, all right, we're going to have to look at culture before colonization. And how did that look? Because that's your culture. The culture you had before it was stripped from you is your culture. People created hip hop after they were stripped of their culture. So they made an abomination of a culture. Even though it started off with the right intent, it was still constructed when it was being, it was being constructed while being manipulated by
Right.
the
And it's
same
still,
by the same colonial system.
yes. And even though it started with the right intentions, it's still been bastardized. So
Absolutely.
what difference does it make?
Because it was created within a colonial system outside of our original culture. But once you start getting, labels involved, interest and all these other things, and prison industrial complex involved, oh yes. Once you get all of these things involved, then it's a thing where, yeah, you created something under noble causes, but there's a culture outside of that controls your culture. Our culture existed before we got into this whole mess. So if there's something that you do want to holler appropriation about other things. I won't name them, but do some research about about what African people in general, whether they're from Africa, whether they're indigenous people here. Everybody got stuff to say. So, what was culture like before traffic lights and skyscrapers? What were you doing before cotton gin and slave ships? That's who you are. That is your culture. Everything else after that is a bastardized form of it. And so with all of that stuff, man, comes with communal ways of being, and there's all kinds of stuff that's culture, and there's all types of things that's not ours. And we are the one of the biggest culture appropriators out there. So much so that it works to our own demise. So instead of hollering at other people, there needs to be a mirror reflected to see how much we're appropriating another man's culture. Maybe then we'll get out of the prisons. Maybe then we'll stop making these dumbass songs. And maybe then, all those statistics that are unsavory that none of us like can go in a direction that we all like and care about. So, I'll get off my soapbox about this, but please, a white man in a bonnet is not a threat towards you, community. What's a threat towards you, all right, is I won't name that either. But I'll just say that, hey man, just wake up, smell the coffee, and learn about your real culture, not the Pepsi Cola version that's been sold to you over the last 30 years. Yeah.
Yeah, get off Jack Harlow's back. The man's wearing a bonnet. You should not be thinking of a bonnet as an aspect of your culture. That's
No
the
way.
that's the root of the issue. Bonnets should not be synonymous with your culture. That's
No.
ridiculous.
No.
Get off these people's back. Get off. Let them wear the cornrows. Put bonnets on their head because that's something that's been assigned to you. It isn't something that's originally your culture. So yeah, I mean yeah, that's very succinct. That's pretty much. I just kind of feel like if you really feel that way about this dynamic that you call appropriation, then just give them a dose of their own medicine. If you really want to die on that hill like that, give them a dose of your own medicine because they'll really hate that. Trust me. If as much as you hate seeing Jack Harlow wearing a bonnet, trust me, they'll really hate seeing you open your own venture capital firm if you're really about that culture appropriation life. So get off that guy's back. Get off his back. Let him wear that damn bonnet. Leave that man alone. Because I'm gonna tell you one thing about Jack Harlow. Jack Harlow loves some of y'all more than y'all love yourselves too. So, take that for what it's worth.
Well
you
said.
know, what's going on with this appropriation stuff, man? Get out of here, man.
Mm-mm.
Golly. But with on that note, we're gonna go ahead and close it out, man. Another good episode of the Conscious Approach channel in the books. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. My name is JV Wins. That is Dogon SS. Catch us on the Instagram page at Con Approach, CONAPPROACH. The website is consciousapproach.com. And even though right now Meta is giving me hell, I don't know what's going on with Meta. You can also find the videos on the Meta page. Just search Conscious Approach as they become available, because for whatever reason, I'm having an issue with that stupid app and actually uploading these videos. I don't know what's going on. Mark Zuckerberg can kiss my ass.
Amen.
Hit that like button, man. Hit that subscribe button. If you happen to catch wind of this video via stream, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you catch any of our video uploads, hit the subscribe button there, man. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about these videos. We certainly appreciate kicking this game and supporting that logical content. You can also find me on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS, and be on the lookout for Conscious Approach on your Spotify platform providers, wherever you get that stuff. So that stuff is on the way. We certainly appreciate it. Another video in the books. Thank you for supporting this logical content, and we'll catch you on the next video.
Yes, sir. And the name is Dogon SS. And you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS or on YouTube at Dogon SS. Also on YouTube at Hurricane Dogon. Goddamn. All right. And as I say on every pod, guys, all right, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player. All right. And don't let nobody get you off your pivot. All right. So including OnlyFans models and tricks and scallywags. So until the next time, guys, we'll catch y'all on the flip side. Skr, skr.
Oh, fellas, put the OnlyFans down. Put it down. Oh, and man, congratulations to the Heat, man. Hard fought battle.
Yeah,
5-game series. Finals is over. It's all good, though. We still got there perennially going late in the postseason, so real happy about that. And I don't hate the Nuggets, so I was happy to see that they got one. At least it wasn't LeBron. So,
or Steph, right?
Go, yeah. Go Heat. Looking forward to next season. On that note, man, we'll see you next time. Appreciate you for tuning in. We out of there.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace. Go Canes. It's football season next time. Go Canes. Go Canes. Yeah.